I would love to say that I kind of feel bad for Bungie and I want them to do better, but I can't even grift. That would be a lie. That would be a full blown lie. I could care less, honestly. I know that this is the same company that brought us the Halo franchise, the same company that brought us the original Destiny, and one of my favorite game modes of all time, which is the Trials of Osiris. But I mean, as a gamer, I've evolved. You know what I'm saying? I am no longer tied down by the desire to be loyal to plastic boxes or studios. I could care less about it because once you recognize that these studios have been ravaged by woke ideologies and greed and selfishness and envy and pure narcissism, you no longer grow attached to the studios, especially when you got AA studios coming out dropping bangers like Helldivers and Split Fiction and Expedition 33 and all of these other magnificent. I mean, for crying out loud, I didn't even know who NetEase was until Marvel Rivals dropped, and I'm literally addicted to this game. So no, I have no desire to cheer on Bungie for them to get their act together. But it's over. You know what I'm saying? Because ex Bungie employees are now coming out and absolutely dropping all of the quote unquote tea on this company. This comes from an article from, I guess, the Game Post. You know what I'm saying? They're saying a former Bungie developer says Marathon's leadership was extremely toxic and humiliating, calling for a complete overhaul of studio leadership as the studio faces heavy criticism. Now, listen, guys, we all know the gaming industry is facing, a lot of layoffs, inflating budgets. We just talked about Randy Pitchford yesterday. But I am not one of those people who immediately side with the developers when they complain about toxic work culture. If you ever worked in corporate America, hell, if you've ever worked, period, everywhere you go, there's going to be something toxic about the workplace. It doesn't matter, bro. It's people. Nobody's going to be perfect. Not everybody's going to have their way. Not everybody's going to have the best pay or the best hours or just the best work ethic, regardless. So whenever I see articles like this where people are coming out and they're trying to smash leadership, oh, they made us work too hard. Fuck out of here. I'm not trying to hear that. Former Marathon developer speaks out extremely toxic and humiliating. The latest blow came from a former Bungie developer who worked on Marathon, known online as Spirited, who shared a comment about his experience on social media. On Sunday, Spirited posted a blue sky saying, as a former Bungie employee who worked on Marathon, I feel for those at the studio. Working with engineering, Marathon leadership was extremely toxic and humiliating. I won't speak about the rest, but Bungie leadership needs to be gutted completely, okay? That's what they had to say. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't care. They also said every day was a fight for autonomy and trust. Every day was someone telling me I'm not allowed to speak on any issue or problem in a professional tone. It was on our minds since the last layoffs in October 2023. We asked Pete, and his response was that it was a lever he'd pull again. They need to flesh out leadership completely. My team was excellent, but it felt like everything else prevented us from doing anything meaningful. Okay. He also pointed out this says he also pointed out that repeated layoffs have only pushed the studio to rely more on contractors and even AI, making things even more difficult for the full-time staff. So when I hear, this is a quote by the way, so when I hear them when I hear that they laid off another round of my talented colleagues and friends, I feel angry. They're not at fault. They're not the ones who need to be canned, and every round only strengthens their reliance on contractors and AI. No joke. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, we don't know the context of, whatever's going on there. People getting laid off, them using AI and contractors and whatnot. But here's the thing. I don't believe these people because I know they're narcissistic people who believe they're above their customers, above the players. And sometimes you hear stuff like this that makes it sound like overly humiliating. They're overworking us. They're doing all of these things. And then you get behind closed doors and you find out, nigga, all they did was ask you to work an 8-hour shift. What in tarnation are you talking about? They asked you to do your job, and now it's humiliating. They ask you not to speak out publicly about certain things because obviously we've seen developers and community managers speak out about certain things over the last few years, and it's gotten the entire company in trouble. If I'm working at Bungie, I'm telling you motherfuckers to shut up too.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's not personal. It's not anything to be an attack on you. But I mean, it's the facts. It's the facts. And if you go to the comments of where this post originally came from, you can actually see a lot of people feel the same way. This individual right here says toxic because they made them work. Right. This other person says a bunch of woke retards. Toxic because they wouldn't affirm their delusions. A lot of other people. There's a lot of other takes in here as well. But I mean, I think part of the thing that really upsets me is obviously there's something going wrong over at Bungie. I don't think it's just one thing. I think you guys should go and watch this video from Destin Legary, who he actually got some more comments from previous Bungie employees who shed more light, and they were talking about, you know, leadership and things like that. And I want you to understand these people are biased, right? Obviously, if you are a developer, you're going to be, you know, closer to other developers than you are with leadership. That's just a fact. And so that's why I never take them at 100% face value. Yes, sometimes it is leadership's issue, but other times it's not. Other times it's just, you know, an overall failure across the board. Maybe leadership didn't hire the right people. Maybe leadership didn't make sure that the people that they hired were actually doing their damn jobs. And it turns out that there's a lot of developers who aren't just not cut out for this shit. And I'm not saying that from the position of thinking I know what it takes to make video games, but we've seen multiple times, including even in good games, where they said they've hired people who have no experience making video games. Expedition 33 did it. Sandfall Interactive. They hired people who didn't know what the hell they were doing, and they wound up making a good game. So it's not like it's impossible. The question is, what kind of people are you hiring? Are you hiring people that are passionate about making video games? Because there's no way that somebody who's passionate about making video games is stealing art, bro. Nah, bro. You're excited to get your ideas out there for people to look at. There's no way that somebody who's passionate about making the things that they're making as an artist is perfectly okay with watching somebody else's work up on a screen where their work is supposed to be. To me, that sounds like you're hiring a bunch of motherfuckers who don't really care about video games like that. And maybe that has something to do with this. Okay, introducing trans at Bungie. This was in 2021, by the way, so this isn't new. Okay, this is old news. But one of Bungie's core values is wanting everyone to feel their identity is welcome. This goes for both players feeling welcome in our games and employees feeling welcome in our studio. It means evaluating our communication, listening, and learning to different viewpoints and amplifying underrepresented voices. While this is not a problem that can be solved overnight, it is an ongoing effort for Bungie employees throughout the company. Last year, we shared some of the work done by Bungie's first inclusion club, Black at Bungie, Jesus Christ. And today, on International Transgender Day, oh my God, we'd like to share the efforts of another Bungie inclusion club, Trans at Bungie. Jesus Christ. And the clown horn goes to the entire team. This is why I have no sympathy, because while you're complaining that leadership this and leadership that, this right here is a collective effort of the entire studio. Okay, the development team doesn't get to introduce stuff like this without leadership approval, and leadership does not implement stuff like this without filling the room of the development team. The clown horn goes to the entire studio. The entire studio. Okay? This is what it's like in hell. Welcome to hell.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
And now you got to worry about your job security and all of these things because, you know, you were too focused on being inclusive and you know, black at Bungie, trans at Bungie, gay at Bungie, a crippled at Bungie, black women at Bungie. We invented Wi-Fi. Man, stop it, man. Stop it. You guys need to get back focused. Take out the greed. Take out the inclusion and the diversity and all of that bullshit, and focus on making the best games. I think you can get back to doing it, but blaming it on leadership alone, blaming it on the development team alone, no, it's a complete Bungie failure. You bungied. No pun intended. No. It was definitely, never mind. It was definitely a pun intended, but you bungied, nigga. You bungied. So get back to making good games. Screw all this extra bullshit. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As always, may the grip be with you.
Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.